Sometimes afterwards you do loud, but you're not going to do loud, right?
No. I don't feel like today's a loud day.
No, this is after the I knew it. Yeah, you blew out the microphones. Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
board games.
And
board gamey things.
Exactly. We're back again today with another board game snapshot. So a couple things. Number one, we've recently mounted a TV on the back of the wall, and that is our new monitor. So if you ever see us do this,
I'm not looking at it at all. I don't care.
Right now I'm looking at myself at the TV.
I don't care to look at myself anymore.
So that's the first thing. Anyways, for anybody that doesn't know, our board game snapshot is a series of 5 mini reviews or previews depending on the game. And today we have 5 new games to talk to you about, all of which were sent to us from the publishers. So if I forget to mention it as we're talking about, just know everything here was sent to us by the publishers. You got it? What's wrong with your arm?
I don't know.
Itchy? Anyways, let's get started with our first game, which is Super Squad High from Nerdy Pup, who very kindly sponsored this portion of the video. So we're going to be doing a mini preview for this game. Before we get into it, Super Squad High is releasing retail, direct to retail in April. So if anything I'm about to say tickles your fancy, you can find out your friendly local gaming store, right? And ours is...
Boredom Game Cafe.
It is.
You said that's the first time I think we've ever done that, like, not at the end.
No, we do it sometimes. You know, who knows what we're doing. Anyways, this plays 1 to 4 players, 30 minutes per player. It's a cooperative strategy game. You want to hear about it?
Mm-hmm.
Super Squad High is a fully cooperative strategy game where you play teen superheroes in high school. Balance your grades, relationships, and crime fighting while you work together to unmask the secret villain threatening Excelsior City. Only you can discover and defeat the villain, but will they turn out to be your bestie or sweetheart you have trusted all along? Your goal is to unmask the villain, then defeat them in a final fight. You unmask the villain by revealing 3 clues: the villain, the scheme, and the motive. Clues are revealed by forming relationships with 8 non-hero classmates. When you form a relationship with a classmate, becoming besties or sweethearts, they confide a rumor to you. Each rumor fills a space on the clue track. As the clue track fills, clues are revealed, and each clue gives 1 piece of information that helps the heroes narrow down which of the 8 classmates is secretly the villain. Once the villain is revealed, you will team up with your fellow heroes for one final fight against the villain. You win if you unmask the villain and defeat them in a final fight, but you lose if time runs out, the city takes too much damage, or one of you ends the day with an F grade. Okay, school's important, friends. Don't fail. But
Did
also,
you ever fail? Me too. One class.
In high school or university?
It was in high school.
Oh, mine was university. Mine was, okay, so side story. We're going to keep talking about this, but side story. I failed physics in my first year of university because when I started university with my Bachelor of Science, you had to take all of the sciences, and I had never taken physics before. I didn't take it in high school and never had taken it.
And your math is...
No, I did great in math. I'm actually, like, with a calculator, decent.
Okay.
As long as I got a formula and stuff, I'm good to go.
Got it.
But, yeah, I had to retake it, and I retook it, and then I ended up with a B the second time around.
You took it a little bit more serious.
Yeah, and also I had Darren and Alex help me.
I failed grade 11 chemistry.
Oof.
I couldn't figure out how to balance the equations.
I was very good at chemistry.
I just could not. It just was a thing. I'm decent at math, but for some reason, balancing those chemical formulas, I couldn't. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing.
It's crazy. Look at us reminiscing about high school from talking about Super Squad High. So, my friends, like I said, this is in retail in April, so all of the links, descriptions, everything you need to know is going to be below, so definitely check it out if it sounds like it's something that you might be interested in. But it's super vibrant and colorful and fun, and so if you're into that, you can check it out. And it does play solo, okay? So if you're a solo player,
superheroes,
you can play this solo as well.
I love the player colors.
Yeah, aren't they fun? Anyways, that is Super Squad Hero, and we are going to go on to the next game, but shout out to Nerdy Pup for sponsoring this portion of the video.
Next up, we have from KTBG Games, Maki Master.
Maki Master!
Maki Master is a restaurant, sushi-themed...
Order making.
Puzzle. Is that like a new mechanism?
I kind of feel like it is. We're going to talk about 2 games that have order
fulfillment?
Yeah, order fulfillment. I don't know if it's a new mechanism, but it certainly is getting more
normally
popular.
It's like set collection, but this one isn't really set collection.
No.
So in Maki Master, you are effectively going to be, I don't want to say drafting tiles, but you're going to be on your turn picking a tile to place into a communal board that is a set of columns and rows. And what you're trying to do in a very quick way is line up your ingredients in rows and columns, depending on what your recipe card dictates. There is very limited ways to manipulate the communal board, but there's certain cards you can get that allow you to maybe break the rules, wherein maybe you can take ingredients that are in an L shape as opposed to straight across,
or stack
them, etc., etc. All of the recipes have a different set of ingredient criteria, but also the amount of ingredients that are required to fulfill the recipe. So the harder ones might be 5 ingredients long, but the board's only 6 wide, so it's really hard because, again, everyone's manipulating the communal board. So you might be all right, I really need rice, tuna, and
red snapper
to be in a row. But you have the rice and the tuna lined up, and then someone's like, ooh, I need that, and they place out, I don't know, eggplant. And you're like, ugh! I needed that to be red snapper, and then you need to pivot. It's a very straightforward, very light recipe maker.
Yeah. It's basically a large puzzle that you're manipulating, but everybody else is manipulating, and so it gets very frustrating because obviously, nobody else knows what you're working on, and so someone can play something like Jeff said, and you're like, ugh!
Well, I mean, there is a little bit of I could see maybe if Jamie placed 4 ingredients in a row. Oh, she's going for a banger.
You kind of know.
And you could maybe just block it. There's ways also, again, there's ways to break the rules. So there's cards that allow you to swap 2 ingredient locations and that sort of thing. If you like those kind of tile, because tile placement is pretty much the bulk of the game.
Yeah.
If you like tile placement games, this is definitely one to check out. I did enjoy that it has just a little sprinkling of meanness. There's not a ton of it, but there's a little bit.
There's definitely a little bit.
If you want to play mean, you can to some degree, but you don't really have to. It's super great. I had a lot of fun playing it. It's not normally my cup of tea, but we played it at 4-player and very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, we played at 4-player. Another thing is it plays pretty quickly. It's definitely a brain burn because one thing is on the order cards, on the 3, 4s, and 5s, if you get the order in the exact correct order, not only are you going to score points, but you're also going to get another benefit, which is typically gaining wasabi, and wasabi cubes are also points at the end of the game. So it's one thing to be how badly do I want to make sure that I can make this order
perfect?
I
always wanted it to be perfect.
Same.
I think that's just my brain.
Yeah.
But I would not put a recipe out if it was not perfect.
Yeah, I was
no, I want those wasabi cubes.
Yeah. Another really interesting thing about this game is there's these teacups that fill spaces. So the game ends when the board is full. And these teacups take up a space, but you can move them throughout the game, and there's certain action cards that let you manipulate them as well. And so using those teacups to your advantage is actually a really important part of this game that at first when we laid it out, we're like, what are the point of these teacups? I don't really understand. But then as you get playing, you're like, oh, these are really important because you can almost box people in with them nearing the end of the game. I really liked it. KTBG generally, we enjoy all of their games. I think we played this during the Gameathon, like Jeff said, at 4. And we were sitting there thinking, has there been a KTBG game that we haven't enjoyed? And I don't think that there has.
Yep.
I just they're so approachable.
They're very approachable, and they always do really great art. And the production in this one I very much enjoyed. I liked that they gave you little dishes to put your wasabi blocks in, which is like, you didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
The game would have played just the exact same. But it was a nice little like feature, and they're like, I don't think they're metal per se, but they have a metal feeling. And so like it's nice to like dink your little wasabis into the little cup. Yeah, I mean it's if you like KTBG games, you're going to like this.
Yeah, it's a 30-minute game and it plays 8 and up, and you can play it solo. And most of their games you can play solo, which I love. But that is Maki Master. Shout out to KTBG for sending us that one. Next up from Bitewing Games, we have Shuffle and Swing, and they did send us this one for review. And this is part of their Jazz series. So they had 3 games come out, and they sent us all 3, and so far this is the only one that we have played. Now, in Shuffle and Swing, I'm just going to flip it around because it's very fun. You are essentially acting as different mice. And what you are trying to do is you are trying to build out different instruments around the board. And you are doing this through dice placement and dice manipulation.
You're building instruments for giants.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to say, I'm a visual person. So here there is a wheel, and there's, I think, 4 of them around the board, each of which corresponds to a different instrument that you are trying to build out. The instruments themselves are actually mini games in the way that they score. So, and there's a ton in the box, and they're all double-sided. So you're building them out and then scoring them throughout the game based on different scoring triggers that are happening. But the different sections of the wheel are telling you about different actions that you can take, whether it's to work on a building or maybe it's to reset because you're going to be placing your kind of dice in the middle in order to upgrade your dice. So you start off with like less powerful dice, and then throughout the game you're going to upgrade them to give you more powers. There is a lot of area control within this game in terms of how you build out the actual instruments, and then it's action selection. And you also are not going to necessarily be scoring all of your instruments. So I think the game ends when 2 instruments have been completed. And so you might be working on another instrument. And keeping in mind we played this at 2 players, some things might change with more players.
Sure.
But you may be working on an instrument and then the game end is triggered and that instrument doesn't score at all.
Yep.
So you have
Which is what happened in our game.
Which is what happened in our game. You have to figure out how to balance everything that you're doing, while also, like, you can also use the other player's dice, which then gives them a benefit.
Yep.
And you also don't want to do that, but you have, like, you're forced to do that. And then in a 2-player game, there is like a dummy player, like there's an extra die color that's out there that you can use, and then they're kind of competing with you in terms of area control is the main thing that they're kind of competing with you for. And there's a bunch of different resources that you're collecting, and like each instrument quadrant that you're working on, the types of resources that you're getting are not useful in that particular instrument. So it's really interesting. I would say we really enjoyed it for sure. Like, I loved it. I really, really, really want to play this at higher than 2. Because I think even with the dummy character, I just think area control generally works best with like 3+ players. Agreed. 4 players at least. And this one I think 2 to 4 players. But I thought it was really well produced. It was really fun. It was, relatively quick. We probably played it in like 45, 50 minutes at a 2-player game.
This was one of my most anticipated games.
Yeah.
Going into Gen Con or PAX?
Oh, I don't remember. PAX, it must have been.
I don't remember either. I kind of echo what Jamie stated. I enjoyed it at 2. I think I'd love it at 3 or 4. In traditional area control capacities, normally when you're playing at 2-player and the dummy character just fills up spots, there's really no like feeling of that character. And that's why I would rather try and play it at 3 and 4. But I do obviously enjoy that these games are able to be played at 2 because we are 2 people and we play primarily at 2. I really like when games add that system of like increased worker output, because the dice are effectively like your workers in this. And as you use them, they become more powerful, and you're pipping them up in order to increase their efficiency until they get so powerful that then you replace them with these other dice. And again, like Jamie mentioned, you can use your opponent's dice And sometimes you just have to, because as Jamie mentioned, each sector has an instrument, and normally that sector will not have the specific like cat worker type that you require. So one thing Jamie did mention is there's like cats, or no.
Yeah, cats.
Yeah, okay. There's cats
gray, orange, and black
in this game that have different colors, gray, orange, and black. So each sector has an instrument, and normally those instruments will require 2 colors of cats in order to complete them.
But you can't gain those.
But you can't gain those colors from that sector, so you have to go to other sectors in order to get the color of cat required to place onto your board to build instruments. And you can block sectors with your dice. So then it becomes like, oh, well, like, I don't want to go to this sector with my dice because I don't want to do that action. But I need to go to that sector to get the colored cat I require. So is getting the colored cat worth wasting the action?
Yeah.
There's a lot to think about in this game. But it's not overbearing in terms of, like, being able to play it. It's relatively straightforward. Once you know the iconography and how the game works, it actually flows really, really well. But the decision space is massive.
Yeah.
And that's just at 2-player. I can only imagine that increases at 3 and 4 when there's more competition for those sector actions that you want, and everyone's competing for different colored cats in that instance.
Yeah.
I very, very much enjoyed it. I really want to play it again at a higher player count. But yeah, it gave me everything I wanted. I really loved the theme. I love that you're, creating instruments for giants, which is just basically humans.
Yeah.
It's very cute. Really great production. Bitewing is killing it these days. So.
Yeah, and there's a ton of variability with this game with the instruments, I will say, because all of the instruments are built differently. And they're, like I said, they're all different mini games. So we played with like the 3 instruments, and then you flip them over and you're basically playing a completely different kind of game, which is really cool. So we both really like this. Excited to play it again. What do I feel like playing? Ooh. Silver Bullet, yes. Hey, Jeff, do you want to play Silver Bullet with me? Oh, right. Jeff's not home. Wait a second. I have an idea. I am so happy that I can play the Silver app by myself. I don't even need Jeff if he's gone. Oh, and by the way, today's video is sponsored by Bezier Games, who are celebrating their Year of Fear in 2025, going back to their roots. And I would love to tell you a little bit more about that, but you all know that we've loved the Silver games for a very long time. So if you don't mind, I'm actually just going to play a game real quick. So roll the tape and I'll tell you a little bit more about what they got going on this year. Bezier Games is going back to its roots and celebrating 2025 as their Year of Fear. Each of the titles they release this year will have a healthy dash of fear, often with a dash of werewolves and a pinch of laughter in the mix. First up, coinciding with the retail release of Silver Eye and Silver Fang, is the all-new Silver mobile game available on both Google Play and the Apple App Store. Your village is overrun by savage werewolves. Thankfully, this new version of Silver is now available, which has received a complete overhaul, including new art and an improved interface. Faster gameplay and loading times, 1 to 4 player games, online multiplayer, plus the ability to name and save custom decks. View your statistics, play and share your decks with friends, and more. The Silver mobile game is free to download on Android and iOS, with 2 expansions available now and a 3rd on the way. So follow the link in this description's video to join the thousands of players on an online werewolf hunt as you build, save, and play your custom Silver decks online. Big shout out again to Bezier Games for sponsoring today's video, and if you don't already have the Silver app, definitely download it on your phone and then let me know that you've done that in the Discord so we can play. Okay? Because now I've got a really great way to play Silver and Silver Bullet. So let's go.
Last one up on my side is Critter Kitchen, and this is from Cardboard Alchemy and Lucky Duck Games, who kindly sent us this bad boy for review. Critter Kitchen is a another restaurant-y themed
Yeah, like
game.
order fulfillment.
Order
basically.
fulfillment with worker placement type situations wherein you have 3 different critters in your kitchen that are going to have different varying degrees of efficiency. So you're going to have one little tiny mouse. I think it's a mouse, a lizard, and a boar.
Yeah, but they're like fun looking.
Yeah,
like the mouse has wings.
So they're kind of like cute, fantastical animals.
Yeah.
There's a little one, a medium one, and a big one. Effectively, for what you need to know. And then there's going to be a ton of worker placement areas that you can set your workers to. And the majority of these areas are going to give you ingredients. And what you're trying to do is complete private objectives of ingredient types that are going to come up each round. So they're going to reveal different dishes that you need to complete each round as you go. And then as the game continues, you're then going to have a bunch of ingredients in order to do like a final round, which is like a 7-course meal that you're going to get ranked on for a bunch of different criteria.
And those are all secret, those like end of game things.
The end game stuff is all secret until you get to the end, but there are ways for you to kind of peek and have a bit of an idea of what's coming up. But essentially what you're doing is placing these workers out in order to get ingredients. However, your little worker is small. He can only take 1 ingredient. So each area is going to have a bunch of different ingredients that are going to allow you to take from that region. Here's where it gets a little bit spicy though. You place out your workers before you take resources. And each person is going to pick 1 region to place one of their workers in. The small guys and gals, and they and them, are going to go first, but they're only going to take 1 ingredient. The middle guys are going to go second in a region and take 2 ingredients.
And they'll go back and forth.
And then, and it's a back and forth draft if it's tied.
Correct, yeah.
So if you have 2 medium people there, then you'll draft them back and forth. Then the boar goes last. And why this is important is because there's only a certain amount of ingredients in a region. So if you've placed a boar in one of those regions, but everyone else has placed maybe 2 of their small people or 2 mediums, and there's no ingredients left for the boar,
take soup.
You're going to have to take soup.
Basic soup.
And soup can be used for your recipes, but they're worth less points.
Yeah.
It is a really, really great, somewhat mean recipe builder.
Yeah.
And it might be my favorite
this kind of game.
Genre of game.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed it. We played it at 4 players during the Gameathon. Feel free to go check it out if you want to see more.
I cried. I laughed.
It is super fun, and the only negative I'll say about this game is it does take up it's wide.
It takes up
the board
space.
Is very wide.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's necessarily, it's definitely not a negative for us because we have a massive table, but I could see that being a negative for a lot of people. But it was super enjoyable. I loved how the worker placement criteria worked, where it's like, well, I'm going to put a small boy. I need to get that wine.
Yeah.
So I need to go first in that region. Now, where it's interesting is if you tie, there's certain things that happen and, all of these things. But it's got a great decision space, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It shocked me how much I liked it.
Yeah, and one thing that I really enjoyed about this game too is there's a lot of simultaneous play. So like the very first step is you have a hand of cards that are all the locations and you assign them to each worker all at the same time, and then all at the same time you reveal, and then all at the same time you place.
Yeah.
But then you resolve by location. And so like one thing that I found to be really entertaining is as we're all placing, you're like, oh, come on, because I'm placing there. Because everything goes by turn order, and if you are like Jeff mentioned, if you're tied, so if 2 people place a mice, you're going to go by the turn order, but then whoever was in first then bumps to the back. So the next time that
there's
they're
a never
actually
evolving turn order.
Exactly. So that was really it was just silly and fun. Another thing I really liked, at the end of the track, there was a place where you can get another worker, and they were all very cute, and they all had a special ability, and you can only use them one time. And I thought they were really fun because they just change up how the game kind of plays, and it gives you like a little advantage or a little special rule. It was so cute and it was so fun. And even though I was very loopy while we played it, if you happen to go back and watch it, I literally cried. I laughed. I don't even remember half, like, every time I was like, what are we doing? But I was having a great time the whole time we were playing it. And I think it does play solo, so I might do like a solo stream of this or something, because I just think Sandara Tang is like one of my favorite artists, so the art is like stunning. I do think this game, and somebody mentioned it before we did the stream, but they were like, definitely play it at like 4+ players, because that interaction is part of the fun
that makes sense
of this game. And so I am curious to play it solo and see how that works. And I just feel like you could play this at 2 and that would be great, but I think
this is a full player.
The more players, like, it plays up to 5, so the more people you could play this with, the better, because the interaction piece of this game is the magic of the game.
Yeah, I just want to add one quick thing about Jamie mentioning the extra worker, just to give you an example of what we mean by that. So each round there's going to be a new extra worker.
A zoo chef.
Yeah, a zoo chef instead of a sous chef. And it's random, and they all have different sizes. You know, they can be small, medium, or large. But to give you an example, one of the small characters was like a hummingbird.
Yeah.
And
Ming.
Min, yeah.
Ming. Yeah.
Something like that. Ming. Yeah, Ming. And so if you placed Ming out, she would go first, but you didn't have to, if she was tied, you didn't have to, she always went first.
Yeah.
You didn't have to like manipulate your turn order and stuff. So that's kind of what we mean. They break the rules a little bit, but you're wasting an action.
Yeah, you're not
by
getting
not
any
getting any ingredients by grabbing it for that round.
Yeah.
So, it's, again,
if you're interested, try it. We do have the expansion.
So
we haven't played with the expansion yet. But I'm curious to see kind of what it adds. And just like, I didn't show the back, but look at that. Look at how fun.
Yeah.
Fun. The panda came out. Her name was Mandy. There's also a critic. We didn't talk, like, there's a bunch of stuff going on in this game, but it was very straightforward.
At the end, you're going to get critiqued on your 7-course meal.
Yeah, and the critic, this one that we play with, they liked cheese.
They loved cheese. So your cheese is scored extra.
The cheese tax. Last but not least, I feel like you've seen this on our channel a lot, but I need to talk about this game more, and that is Crafting the Cosmos from Office Dog Games.
Show the back.
What?
Show the back.
Nikki. I didn't want to tip it over and pour it out. You know what I mean?
There's a lot
of stuff in the box. Yeah. So we have done a preview for this. We have done a playthrough for this. We also played it during the Gameathon. So we have played this at 2 players.
And we're playing it on BGA. Yeah,
we played it 2 players, 4 players, and on BGA, 3 players, which we're done the game. I already crushed you guys. Crushed you.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I got 84 and you were each in the 60s. Do you even craft the cosmos? Do you wear wigs?
The problem I have when Jamie really likes a game is she will invest. It's actually a good thing. Yeah. But it annoys me because she invests the time in order to get really good at it, and I don't.
I just have to, like, obviously we love this game, and that's why I want to talk about it more.
Yeah.
But, okay, so Crafting the Cosmos is the newest game from Office Dog, who has just been putting out banger after banger after banger after banger.
God, their lineup is amazing.
I can't wait to see what they come out with next. But this is the new one, and another great thing about Office Dog is that it's direct to retail. So this is available in stores now. But in this game, you are playing over a series of rounds, and then during a round, everybody's going to take a turn with 2 phases. Your energy phase, which is moving these little marbles around this like energy resource bin, basically. You're moving them around so that you can select what resources you're going to take, and then you'll collect them. Then in the crafting phase, you place all of your resources out into your cosmos on your own personal player board. The goal of the game is just to get as many points as possible. Yep. So everything that you're doing it's like an optimization puzzle.
Correct.
And it's a little bit of an engine builder too, because you can also add actions onto your board by playing out different cards onto your board.
Yep.
That's the game. It's like, it might seem like a lot, but it's extremely straightforward.
Your first teach and play, is going to be a bit of a slower slog as everyone gets familiar with it. It's one of those games that you'll play it, you'll slog through it, and then be like, I got it.
I got it.
Let's go again. And then it'll be so much quicker.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, so we've like, I found it 2 players. We played it really, really quickly. And at 4 players, it took a little bit longer, but we played it at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And with 2 new people. But it is just like, it's very, very snappy when you know what you're doing. But you are like placing out different nebulas, and you have to build the nebula by placing out the correct order of stars around it. You're putting life out, which then once the nebula is complete, then you can put advanced life onto your planet. And then you are putting out cards to like build out your actions, and you're moving your stars around. You're turning stars into supernovas and like all of these different things. And when you are taking your turn during the crafting phase, it just feels so good when you're like, oh yeah, and oh, now I'm doing this. Oh, I flipped this nebula.
It feels really, really good when you can move the stars around and complete multiple nebulas.
Timing is everything in this game. Like, because as soon as you have your resources, you can place them out in any order and do things in any order that you want. And another interesting thing is that if you don't use your resources, you lose them. So you have to be really mindful and conscious about like what you're
optimizing everything.
Optimizing and what resources you're taking, how you're moving the marbles around. And I do want to mention, it was already popped up in our playthrough, but we did move the other person's marbles in our playthrough. I popped it up. I didn't do it, but Jeff did. But that was Jeff's first play, and now obviously we know better. But other than that,
Jamie's throwing daggers at me, and she's the one that taught the game. So.
And in my teach, I did say that you can only move your own marbles. Anyways, I would definitely say you should try this game if it seems like something that you might be interested in. If you love a good engine, like a good optimization puzzle, like this is definitely it.
This is a Nick and Mike special.
Yeah, I could not give this game enough praise. Like, I'm even now thinking, because I love River of Gold, which is another one of their games. I'm like, do I like this more than River of Gold? Which is crazy, because I love River of Gold. Oh, man,
that was tough. I think I do. I don't know.
I
But
have to play it a few more times.
Yeah, they're pretty close. This was another one of my most anticipated, and it was one of my most anticipated just based off of the theme and the art. And the fact that, I have no issues in stating this. Office Dog is producing games for me right now that are all hitting.
Yeah.
Don't know if that continues. I hope it does. But they've been absolutely killing it, and everything they've put out, I've loved. And this one is no exception. It's way too early for me to say things like, I think this is going to be one of my favorites of 2025. I also don't think it's too early. I do actually think this is going to be one of my favorites of 2025. And one thing that is interesting is all of my favorite games are high interaction, asynchronous play. This is almost like the opposite of that. So for me, liking this as much as I do is actually kind of shocking. I don't tend to always love solitaire-esque games, but this one I freaking love. And one thing that Jamie didn't mention that I'm going to throw out, the components of this game are phenomenal. The star tokens are these plastic, they feel really nice, and they flip and it goes into a dual layer board.
It's like a very
It is the most satisfying. I love dual layer boards. We've mentioned that numerous times on this channel, and it's no secret. But the way these little stars can flip to a supernova, and they stick in and raise up from the board, and the marbles go around this tray, and like the little life tokens are these little plastic things that sink into the dual layer board. As someone that I love UX, and I love the experience of the feeling of a game, this one knocks it out of the park. And I don't think I have any qualms with it. No qualms.
No qualms. My only qualm is this is a me problem. I'm not very dexterous, and so the little proto-lives I have a hard time like sticking in and like
flipping them. I would agree is a bit, can be a bit janky, but it doesn't bother me really at all.
I wish it played solo.
This game is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
And I absolutely love it.
And shout out to Office Dog for sending this game to us. and for working with us on it. I just freaking love it.
Yeah,
I think
it's
so
so good.
So good. Anyways, my friends, those are 5 more games that we have been playing recently. I do want to give a shout out. This is, I believe, the last video of March. A shout out to our March sponsors, IV Studio. I believe that Scales of Fate is still on Kickstarter. If it is all going to be linked in the description below. We also played that during the Gameathon, Sarah and I. And here's what I'll say. We were already a little bit tired and we did do a mistake, but we restarted it. We did 2 mistakes, but we restarted it and then we played it correctly. But we did.
Did you?
Yeah, the next time that we restarted it, we played it correctly. Anyways, if you are interested, it's a 2-player like chess-like game set in the Veiled Fate world.
Good.
It is so good. You could definitely check that out. And shout out to IV Studio for being March's sponsor. But that, I think, is everything that we have for you all today. Now, if you're interested in buying board games like any of the many we chatted about today, you should first start by checking in your friendly local gaming store, and all of these are in retail. So all of them, Super Squad High is coming in April, but everything else you can get right now, and you just have to wait a week or so for the next one. If you are interested, you should go to your friendly local gaming store, a local gaming store, if you will. And for us, that is
the Boardroom Game Cafe.
Heck yeah, it is. And if you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
There it is.
Why is everything so crooked always?
I think one of your eyes is like back here, and one's here, so you just see everything.
Calling me Quasimodo?
Yeah, you just see everything crooked.
Well, who knows what I see?
Because even when we look at stuff and I'm like, is that level? And you're like, yep. And I go back and it's like, wank.
Why is it upside down? We could have mounted the table, the TV upside down.
We could have mounted it.
We should have mounted the table to the ceiling. Ooh, let's put the lid on right, Jeff.
Thank you.
For Jeffy. These box lids went on during the Gameathon in complete chaos. Are you happy your background's better? Haters? Haters gonna hate. Potatoes gonna potate. Now it's gonna be too busy. I can't see. Can you lower it? Okay.